sure if the video is working. We might be live, we might not. I'll need a wave if you're in the chat. I know we've got a few of you here. Technical issues to start the day. That's what we like to see. I can see the comments, so that's good. I'm not sure if right. Okay, we're like, all right. The intro's been bodged. Forget that. The one thing that hasn't been bodged is the fact that this Eagles team 5-0. Look, I was hesitant to say the Eagles would absolutely win that matchup on Sunday. I got proved wrong, and here we are. I'm very happy to say they became all obstacles. This is the game that I was looking for so long. I think probably since week 2. This was the game I was looking for, where Jalen Hurts steps up big time. The offense looks good. And the times where the defense looked bad, don't get me wrong, that first half, I'd rather forget it in a hurry rather than it haunt my dreams. Adjustments were made and the team came together, and it was a huge step forward against what is really one of the best defenses in the NFL and an offense that featured 2 dominant receivers against a wounded secondary. So there's a lot to like. Thank you all for hanging out and joining this stream. If you're just tuning in, we've got a big number to start the day. If you could leave a like, that will be huge. It helps get this stream to more people so my dulcet tones can annoy even more of you when talking about the Eagles. We're going to get to your comments. We're going to review everything about today's game. I've got a specific segment on A.J. Brown that I cannot wait to get into. I said it yesterday during the game on Twitter that this man single-handedly turned a dead drive into 7 points at the end of the first half. And arguably, I think that changed the course of the game. You go back and you look at what else that man has accomplished over the past 3 weeks. You contextualize it, and he is on a tear that he's not been on his entire career. He is having a career year in some of the most ridiculous metrics, and we're going to get into all of that. So if you want to hang around, make sure you leave a like. The game is, as always, if we get more likes and the team scored points last time out, then we will do a giveaway. I'm going to find the exact total because I've forgotten off the top of my head. Don't kill me. 23. We can do 23 likes. If we get 23 likes during the stream on the video, we will do an Eagles giveaway. So there's your mission. Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Ron's in. Mark is in. The Mad Chatter. Power ranking. Yeah, I've missed Phil's power rankings. I need to get to those. Ron says the red zone needs some work. We're having some trouble with slot coverage in the first half. Yeah, let's quickly broach that. I apologise. First and foremost, that's on me. As we all know, Harry Roseman, avid watcher of the stream. I said very firmly and quite assertively on Friday's stream that it would be silly to throw Bradley Roby to the wolves this early because you've got Cooper Kupp coming back. Puka Nacua is on a tear. It's going to take time to get acclimated with the defense, with the scheme, with the terminology. Just let Job do it on the outside one more week. Let Bradbury hold the inside down and survive. That went tits up, and that's on me. That's my bad. Okay, I didn't mean that. So yeah, I'm glad the defense did make those second half adjustments, like Isaac said there. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I mean, Jalen Carter, Hassan Reddick turned into absolute ballers during that second half. And it arguably changed it again the course of the game. I've got 3 MVPs from that game. 3 guys that I think, I know they don't do the 3 stars that they do in ice hockey. They don't do an MVP award in the NFL, do they, for a man of the match, if you will? They should. They absolutely should. And here's why. Here are the guys that I am going to go with for week 5. Obviously, A.J. Brown. I mean, that's been spoiled by now by the thumbnail, by the title, by my incessant rambling. He was always going to be at the top of the pile here. Just an absolutely sensational game from the former Tennessee Titan. I don't know how more dependable he could physically be. My only worry, and the caveat, and I'm a lot less worried about this with Smitty because I just think he's a much quieter type of player. But, in terms of that, he's not getting his. I'd like there to be some more of a balance. But at that point, beggars cannot be choosers. When AJ is playing that damn dominantly, you can't not target him. And the effect he's having on this team is Tyreek Hill level. It is game-changing level. And you might not see it. You might think it's been like a few weeks, a few good performances, and that's it. But it has been really good. It has been really, really good. And we're going to get into that later. Secondly, Jalen Carter. Goes without saying, the man is now on 3.5 sacks. For those of you keeping tally at home, he is on course, technically, to break double-digit sacks. He would be only one of 3 devout defensive tackles as rookies to ever pass that mark. So there's something to watch for those on the Jalen Carter binocular duty over the next few weeks. He has just been an absolute game wrecker. Again, clutch situations, comes up big. I don't remember a defensive player drafted in Philadelphia being as dominant as Jalen Carter has been. Like, you don't see that as a rookie. You know, like Vinny Curry's rookie year, BG's rookie year, even Fletcher's rookie year. We haven't seen a player attack and dominate and penetrate the way that Jalen Carter has. And thirdly, look, let's give some credit here to Sua Opeta. I said on Friday, this man might be the key cog. His first start of the 2023 season saw him go up against Aaron Donald, Quinnen Williams, and an army of absolute dogs on that Rams defense. And he gives up no sacks, no hits, and Jalen Hurts had to run around once. That is an incredible day for the Weber State product. A former undrafted free agent who was cut by the Eagles at one point. Let us not forget. Sua Opeta was absolutely brilliant. Like, as quiet as a mouse you could be. You didn't see or hear anything bad about him all game. No busted coverages, no dodgy penalties. That's always the worry, I think. If you've got someone new on that offensive line and they're not fully acclimated yet, maybe it's nervy, it's their first start. The noise of the stadium, it's on the road. Although, in fairness, the noise in the stadium was mostly Philadelphia. They seemed to take over Los Angeles, and I absolutely love to see it. But there was always that concern of they're going to be offsides a few times. Maybe it's going to be a neutral zone infraction, whatever. Maybe it'll be holding. It'll be offensive holding. You tend to get a few of those. Nothing with Opeta. Like, that was as clean, as concise, as calm, as good as you could possibly wish for. And again, Stoutland University continues to churn out winners. I would love a social experiment where the Eagles are not allowed to draft an offensive lineman above round 5 for the next, 10 years and see how many all-pro guys they can churn out. Like, how many players can Jeff Stoutland turn from water into wine? I think it'll be a phenomenal experiment. I wouldn't leverage my team and risk it. I mean, it'd be like a Madden thing. But it is just absolutely incredible. So we'll see what you guys are saying. We'll see who your MVPs are as well. As Isaac says, the A.J. Brown graphic will go stupid. It absolutely will, I can promise. 400 yards in 5 games. He's on pace for 1,800. And with Fletch out, Carter stepped up as Son came to play. Yeah, and let's not forget either that it wasn't just Fletch. Marlon Tuipulotu went down. Moro Ojima had to step in. Depth was thin at defensive tackle, a spot that has really been clinical for this Eagles team to generate pressure. It's where most of the sacks, where most of that penetration has come from this year. So to have Jalen Carter step up the way he did, it's phenomenal. I'm a little bit disappointed we've not seen as much from Nolan Smith yet. I assumed he'd be a much bigger factor in the defense by this point in the year. But do you know what? Again, they're 5-0. We're talking about a very young player. He's learning from one of the best there is at his position in Hassan Reddick. I'm sure we can afford him a year or two just away from the spotlight to marinate like a fine wine and then come in and wreak havoc much later. But yeah, Jalen Carter, what a game changer. Like, it's scary to think, isn't it? Like, how different would this season be had the Eagles not taken Carter? Had they taken someone else? Had they gone corner? I mean, had it been Gonzalez, who I think was still on the board at that point, well, I'd like to think the injury wouldn't have followed him, but actually, that's a very interesting one. Because, all right, let's say, we're going way off topic here. I promise I didn't mean to go down this direction, but I caught myself off guard. Jalen Carter, the Eagles decide now we want Gonzo instead. Because it's in Philadelphia, the tackle doesn't happen, he doesn't get injured, but he plays to the same level. We know Darius Slayer's had a bit of a down year. I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit later. I was waiting for Wednesday. I even debated doing a full video on it because he is having, he's having the worst year statistically since his first year in Philadelphia. And if you remember the first year in Philadelphia, wasn't great. And a lot of people were concerned about the longevity of the move. Have they paid too much? Is it not going to reap the rewards? And luckily, it all panned out. But now I think we may have peaked. It may just be a short-term thing, but it's certainly not looking great. But would you, Jalen Carter v. Gonzo, as in which one would have been more impactful given the Maddox injury? I don't know. That is an intriguing one, but I don't think there are many other players I would have taken over Jalen Carter now looking back. Like, if there was a redraft, I really don't think I I'd go anywhere else. And that says a lot, because again, if you've been watching this show since its debut, I really didn't want the Eagles to take Carter. I didn't, but I understand why they did. Like I said, I didn't have the due diligence they did, so I couldn't really make the same assessment that they did. But from a neutral perspective, I wouldn't have taken the risk. Very glad they did, and I feel like to do a redraft now, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Like, it is the most surefire pick. If we were to redraft the entire 2023 class, I don't think Jalen Carter makes it past 5. I don't think he makes it past 6 at most. Really is, a remarkable selection. Brian Johnson, Sean Desai's stress test begins in 1 week. How will be the key for success in the meat of our schedule? Couldn't agree more, Greg. Couldn't agree more. Obviously, I'm sure you're referring to Zach Wilson and the Jet. No, I'm joking. After that is when all the fun's going to start. But look, I had the Eagles getting to this point, maybe being like 5-2 by the time all was said and done. Like between 4 and 6 wins, that sort of range. I was like, maybe they'll lose to the Jets. Maybe it'll be the Rams. I figured the Vikings could be tricky. To be 5-0 at this stage is absolutely above all expectations. The play might not be, but the record is. And I think that is all that matters. And the past 2 weeks, this team has clearly gotten better week in and week out. Both games started. Both games got better. And that has to count for something. Pet is going to get offered a starter contract by some team. Wouldn't surprise me. We've seen it before, haven't we? I mean, we've seen it with Halapula Vati Vaitai. We've seen it with several other Eagles offensive line graduates who've gone on to other places and secured the bag. He's not going to be the first or the last, but if they can keep him around, it will definitely just give them some flexibility on depth. Like, we're seeing Tyler Steen now get some opportunities. He was on special teams a little bit, I saw, in Sunday's win over the Rams. So there is that conveyor belt that continues to churn out linemen. You've got to try and keep them for as long as you can, though. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a masterclass from the offensive front. I think genuinely feel as though Jalen Carter had the bigger game than Aaron Donald, and that takes some doing. He kind of showed Aaron Donald up on his home turf in what may well be a defining passing of the torch moment, right? We don't know, but it could go down as one of those moments, couldn't it? Where Jalen Carter breakout, maybe wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, maybe goes on to win some other accolades, and Aaron Donald, tail end of his career. It might just be that overlap. It could be a significant one. You never know. Jarrell says 2 weeks in a row, the offense started perfect. Litty Life 3030 hurts for MVP. We've got a new member in the chat. I don't have a song yet, but I thank you for tuning in with us. If you're still here, I appreciate you viewing. I don't think Hurts has been good enough to win MVP just yet. Could change. It could change. I mean, I don't really think there's been many other true standouts in the NFL thus far. I mean, I don't know. If we're talking NFL generally, yeah, there's no one that I would say, yeah, he has been more valuable than anyone else right now. Tyreek Hill, potentially, because I think he masks a lot of Tua's deficiencies. But you're not going to see that. It depends on the year he has. But if Justin Jefferson didn't win it a few years ago, I don't think he will. Slay was playing most of the game 7 yards off the ball. Yeah, I feel like he has been just... Look, again, I came into this week hoping to see a bit more aggression from those corners playing closer to the line of scrimmage. We didn't get it. And I do think that maybe Darius Slay might have lost a step. That's potentially an issue. Maybe it is a lack of confidence in the safeties, but whatever it is, it's clearly hurting him. It's clear. I wonder if it is a lack of long speed. I mean, they've seen him all training camp. You've got to remember that. Sure, he might not have played preseason, but look who he's going up against in camp. Smitty, AJ. Oh, for sheer speed, it's Quay. He won't do anything else, and we'll get to that a bit later. But yeah, it wasn't great from Slay. I will get to it a bit later on in the year for sure, because I think with corners especially, it's easy to be overreactive. I've been guilty of it many, many times. Where I've kind of been critical of a corner and said, oh, that was terrible, he's falling off or whatever. Turns out then to go and have another 5-6 years in the league and hold himself down. I think perhaps the worst offender on that regard for me was Tre'Davious White. I was not a Tre'Davious White guy at all, and he's made me look absolutely stupid. It happens in the secondary. And again, a few bad games, Some of it's mental. You've got to look at the receivers he's come up against. Like, it's easy to be critical of Darius Slay right now. But if he did shadow Cup for the most of that game, he's had Justin Jefferson, he's had Mike Evans, he's had Chris Godwin. I mean, Kendrick Bourne was, very good in the week one they played. Like, there's a lot. I mean, Terry McLaurin, he's played A-grade wide receivers every week, near enough. Like, you're playing the best of the best. Garrett Wilson this week is another one. He's not playing bums, all right? He's not lining up against, 20th, 22nd ranked receivers. It's not, I hate to name it, it's not like a Jerry Jeudy or a Cortland Sutton. I don't know, I'm targeting Denver right now. But you know what I mean? These are like the A-grade receivers. These are your top 10 guys. If you see a top 10 receivers list at any point over the last 3 years, McLaurin should be there. Jefferson should be there. One of Mike Evans should probably be in there. And then obviously Cooper Kupp. That's 4 of your 5 games. And the only one not mentioned is Kendrick Bourne, who just happened to have a breakout. So I think there has to be some slack given to Darius Slay. And for that, I will get an article on that. I think I've spoke myself into it. I was going to come into this and be critical of Darius, but he has, again, come up against some of the best the NFL has to offer. Phil's in. Nice to see Phil in here. Appreciate you as always. We've got another new user in 6971 Roby. I hope that's got a Bradley Roby burner account. If it is, Bradley, I love you. You're a great player. Please don't hurt me. I'm joking. Jason Kelsey is the Eagles' most valuable player. All right. Let's get to this then. Ron really quickly says, I did see Roby on the line pressing a guy, getting his hands on him and slowing him up. The ball ended up out of reach for the receiver. I'll go back and have a look. But I know Roby's debut was pretty solid. I know he wasn't there for the whole game, but he looked much better than I thought, put it that way. But okay, Roby says, if that's your name, or Robbie, whichever one, I'll just call you 69 for now, is Jason Kelsey's most valuable player? Not this year. Not overall, maybe the past decade, certainly. Right now, you cannot look past this man. You can't. You just can't do it. And I don't think this doesn't even do it justice. The scary part is these stats do not even do A.J. Brown justice. This is through 3 weeks. So the week that followed, obviously, the sideline spat, 35 targets, 24 catches, 433 yards, 2 tutties, and he's averaging 18 yards per catch. Sensational. Do you know what's even madder, though? Do you genuinely know what's crazy? Okay? And I understand, look, we are 5 weeks into the NFL season. So we're around, a third and a bit, a third and a half away-ish. Like, not maybe, somewhere between a third and a quarter, I don't know. His career high yards per game, he's averaging it right now, 108. Through 5 weeks. Bear in mind, he was a non-factor in one of them. He had 79 in the other. He's averaging 108 yards per game. Career high. Career high receptions per game at 7. Now, his previous high in receptions per game was 5.2. So he's averaging 2 more catches per game than he was at any point in his career. His average depth of target is also a career high, 13.6 yards. And it shouldn't come... This is the one that gets me. You want to talk MVP for this team right now. His career high first downs, like catches that have gone for 10 plus, 59. We are 5 weeks into the season. He's on 26. Like, contextualize that. So if you're going to get what? That would put him roughly around 68-ish. My math is terrible. Someone's going to have to correct me there. But if you're going to average those out, he's on pace for around between 60 and 70 first downs. A new career high again. His career high yards after the catch, 548. He currently has 193 after just 5 weeks. His passer rating when targeted has been 108.4. You cannot say this man has not been the most valuable player on this team through this season. It's not even close. AJ has been on another level. Since that week 2 incident, no one has got anywhere near him in terms of value or anything like that. And what did it for me? What did it for me was that the end of the first half, like 30 seconds to go, the Eagles get the ball back. And A.J. Brown catches a pass. He's that physical because he's like 6'12", where someone has to horse collar him to bring him down. The corner horse collars him. It's a 14-yard penalty. The Eagles are in field goal range. They're at like the 14. They then, with 6 seconds to go, take a shot. AJ in the end zone, draws a PI. Ball goes down at the 1 with like 2 seconds left. Brotherly shove into the end zone. And that game, from that moment on, goes from being down 4 to up, 3, I believe it was. So that was a massive swing. But the Eagles needed a field goal. They had to get a field goal. It wasn't looking great. And it ends up in 7 because in back-to-back plays, A.J. Brown becomes the most dominant receiver on planet Earth. It's far beyond the numbers. It is far beyond like, oh, he's career high here, he's career high there. You're talking a guy where this offense, again, has been handcuffed for most of the year. Okay? The play calling has been not terrible, but certainly not great until maybe this week where things started to settle a bit. The guy's averaging career highs in yards after the catch. Every pass that has gone underneath, Brown's taking up 8 yards up the field. He's outrunning corners. He's a guy that is like built like an NBA center, and he's outrunning corners. Mad Chat says, no A.J. Brown, Eagles are a 7-9 win team. You're probably not wrong. Like I adore Devontae Smith. I stand by what I said in that I believe he's got the biggest upside of any receiver in the NFL. If I was drafting a team to, every receiver got put into a bucket and you're drafting for the next 5 years, you get them all on a 5-year contract, Smitty's among the very top picks for me. But as a finished product, A.J. Brown is just the cream of the crop. Like, the only way that Eagles offense could get better is if Devontae Smith hits the ceiling of like a Tyreek Hill, who's a different cat altogether. But AJ's physicality, his dominance, the fact that he can box you out on curls, he can box you out on comebacks. But I've never seen him like run a slant like Michael Thomas, box someone out like Megatron, catch screen passes like he's Quez Watkins. It's genuinely nuts. I've not seen a receiver his size. Like, he wasn't doing it last year, and that's not a shot at what he was doing last year, because he was a great receiver last year. But over 1,000 yards, I can't say he's not a great receiver. Phenomenal. But he's somehow got better. And the routes are crisper. The routes are way deeper. Like, he's happy to take a slant 5 yards up the field. It's a 17-yard gain. Because he can outrun everyone, and he's hard to bring down. And he draws contact, and he draws flags. I don't think there is a receiver like duo right now that is more effective than those two. Waddle and Hill will be the only other one, I would say. But outside of that, you will not find a player more fitting for that team that has done more. And again, when the offense sucked, when the offense was being barraged by poor play calling and just terrible decisions and inefficient throws from Jalen Hurts, let's call them what they are. He was bad for 3 weeks. Who was the man bailing him out and taking those misplaced passes and snatching them out of the sky and taking them to the house? It was A.J. Brown. He just had a ridiculous start to the year. And it's got to be praised. Look, I'm all for giving people flowers. We had the Jake Elliott Appreciation Society a couple of weeks ago. But A.J. Brown, again, we'll go over these stats one more time, because saying it, you've got to contextualize it. You can see on the screen what he's had through the past 3 weeks. But what gets me, again, he is averaging a career high in yards per game, receptions per game, and average depth of target. His career high in first downs is 59. We are 5 games in. He's on 26. His career high yards after the catch is 148. We are 5 games in. He's on 193. And when you look at the effect he had on that one drive alone, where 30 seconds to go, end of the first half, down by a score, and they weren't expected to do anything, it would have been a dream to get within 50 yards for Jake Elliott to have a punt at it, and it somehow ends up in 7 through a sheer will, a sheer just drive from A.J. Brown. He has by far been the most valuable component, not just on that offense, but on that team. The defensive equivalent, I think, would be Jalen Carter at this point. I think he has had a phenomenal year. But in terms of the most valuable player to this Eagles team right now through 5 weeks, without AJ this year, you're talking 3 to 4 wins. They are not 6-0 without A.J. Brown. Absolutely not. Would they be 6-0 without Jalen Hurts? Maybe 5-1. I think Jalen really balled out the past 2 weeks. He really has, guys. So he's still not at his best, but he's definitely, I think partly because he's got such confidence in A.J. Brown, is able to take those deeper shots. And Brian Johnson's seeing it, and he's loosening the screws a little bit. And the pressure's coming off, and they're able to just relax into the game a bit more and play the way they used to. You can see it then with the run game as well. DeAndre Swift had a great game, but because it wasn't 199 yards he did in the other couple of games, that's not being spoken about. The kid had nearly 80 yards. Absolutely thunderous game. There are a few runs where, again, it was there was one run, I think it was, I want to say the fourth quarter, it was 3rd and 8, and they ran it. And I literally put my head in my hands. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, not again. And by the time I've looked up, Swift has dodged 2 tackles, cut into a hole, turned it upfield, and got the first down. And I was ready to get on Twitter and moan about the fact that it was another run on 3rd and 8. It was another ball. And what are they doing? Why are they just throwing these possessions? Never mind. DeAndre Swift broke off a run. The drive stays alive. He's had another great game. But he won't get that praise because it wasn't game-breaking. A.J. Brown is game-breaking, and he's still not quite getting that love. I put an article out on him earlier today. I'm going to have to do another one now because it's good even further. Let's see. Martian Lynch is in the chat. With some clever safety right, you can shut down Hill. You can, but it's tricky because then you do leave yourself open to Jalen Waddle, which is why he's there in the first place, I suppose, to kind of just be that ultimate B option to Tyreek Hill. I think the difference is between the Miami offense and the Philly offense, the Eagles have a much better quarterback. I mean, as Shan has done what Swift has done, basically been that breakout star in the absence of a starter. The offensive line's solid. Tight ends have probably been about the same. Goddard has obviously taken a step forward. Finally last week, got himself on the board in a big way. But from a quarterback perspective, I don't think Tua is even close to the level that Jalen Hurts is. There's been a couple of games now where he's looked not overwhelmed, but certainly overmatched, I would say, by opponents. Smitty's taken a back seat to make it. I wonder if, I don't know if it's that the case, but I think Smitty is the quieter of the 2 receivers for sure. He's certainly not the more vocal, but he'll get his, and I think he knows he'll get his. And we've seen that maybe 3 or 4 different occasions now, where one of the receivers has the big game, the other one takes the back seat, then they come back and reload it, and it's the other way around. They've just got to keep riding the hot hand. And if AJ keeps making the most of his opportunities, then you can't blame him. I believe he's been targeted, at least it was going into last week, 43 times, I think, and Smitty was 29. So there's a big gap there. There's a big drop between your primary target and your secondary target. I feel as though last year it was much closer. I'd need to go and do some digging and find out what the target share was, but I know that it was much closer than it was. Is Justin Simmons a possibility for the Birds? Potentially. I know a lot of people are hoping that the Eagles go all out. You know, we've seen the Frank Clark stuff. Everyone's like, maybe now the Eagles can start, trying to run up some pressure. There's been people on Twitter asking for PS2. I don't know. I'd love it. Realistically, it's got to be a CJ level move. It has to be someone that's on a short deal that they won't pay, and they know they won't pay. And I think Justin Simmons, if he knows, if you have offers on the board, it depends. Do you want money or a Super Bowl? You want a Super Bowl, you go to the Eagles. If you want the money and that guaranteed they'll keep you in-house for 4 or 5 years, it ain't Philadelphia. So, yeah, I think that would be the only thing is that the Eagles typically, they're not going to want to just front-load money going in towards a trade deadline sort of saga. But you never know. I've been wrong before. Team will probably start trying to take AJ away Yeah, exactly. And that's where like Smithy will probably get his and he'll work his way back in. It's a crazy offense. It is a crazy offense. And when it works, there's no show on turf like it. Outside of the Dolphins, but you know what I mean. I think Swift had over 100 total yards from scrimmage when you take into account the passing too. Yeah, he was really good. Had another great day. Sanders terrible. We can all appreciate that. I was never a Miles Sanders guy at all. Look, it's again nothing against him. He just, in my opinion, didn't develop. He is exactly the same now as he was when he first came out of college, which is a back that just wants to bounce everything outside, has game-breaking speed, can bounce cuts, and he's very agile, but doesn't have the vision and the discipline to really make the most of them. Swift, arguably the weaker of the two athletes, but the much higher rushing IQ. And the game just looks at slow motion. Like when he's dodging blocks, it's everything. He's like a swan on the surface of the water, just gliding his way through. And no one can get close because when he hit, it's like Jordan Howell was exactly the same, but a bit more north-south than Swift is. I mean, those two together would have been the dream pairing. But Jordan Howell was another one. The exact same situation. Expendable by the Lions because they went younger, they went cheaper. So they're like, all right, well, you know, here we go. Come to us then, DeAndre. Jordan Howard, expendable by the Bears, who went younger, cheaper. David Montgomery, why pay for a running back when you can draft one? Tariq Cohen's a versatile option they had. The Eagles getting for, you know, a mug and like a tea light holder. That's what they traded for DeAndre Swift. That's a true story. And that's it. And he fits the system better and you can make the most of him. But I think where the issue was with Sanders is there was no progression at all. Like, he stopped fumbling for a bit. Pass protection got a bit better, but that's probably just being in the gym and you're stronger and you're being shouted at to keep your weight forward. Like, there's not a lot to pass protection as a running back other than just don't get mauled over. Like, Boston Scott can be a strong pass protector when he wants to be. I've seen him pull off some remarkable blocks. So, I don't know. Look, this isn't a Miles Sanders hate stream, but I certainly was not his biggest fan during his time in Philadelphia. None in the chat jealous of my deals who just signed Josh Norman. I'm amazed he's still in the league, CMC, to be honest with you. I'm really stunned he's still in the league. I thought he retired in like 2012. I'll level with you. About 10 years ago. I don't know what he's doing. How? Buffalo? No idea. Yeah, just no. All of my no. Absolutely not. Diva, bad, gets beat a lot, doesn't have the deep speed anymore. No. Jalen started to use Swift out the backfield. Yeah, it's definitely added a new dimension to it, for sure. It really, really has. Quez Watkins is having a Jalen Reagor type issue. I don't think he is. The thing with Quez, and I've said this a few times now, is he just isn't good. And it's not mean. It's not trying to talk down on him. But if he went to the Jets, if he went to I won't say the Broncos, but like the Raiders, if he was their slot guy, yeah, the Packers, any team that is like 2-2, 1-3, in that middling realm of just average, he'd be fine. He'd be a starting receiver. In the same way, Greg Ward had an era where he'd be that. Okay? The issue is, this is a Super Bowl team. This is a Super Bowl franchise winning team that can be. The potential's there. You have got a wide receiver I have just gushed over in A.J. Brown. Currently sits fourth in the receiver list, has been on a ridiculous tear. Devontae Smith, again, I'll say it a million times, as the highest upside of any receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. Quez Watkins, quick, always has been, hands like feet, can't catch. I don't know what happened yesterday where it was like third down and there was a wide open rushing lane for him. Like Moses had parted the Red Sea and he was straight through and then ran into a block. Didn't see it. Play died. You've got Olamide Zacchaeus there who is maximizing his opportunities. Mediocre doesn't cut it on a good team. It just doesn't. Like that's the thing. The bar has been lifted. Like from when Quez first joined that Eagles team, he was the high upside, low risk, high reward guy. And when you're low risk, high reward, and you start climbing, it's obviously going to be good because there's no risk involved. If they paid Quez, you know, let's say he bounced around for a bit and they paid him for the receiver he was, and they paid him like, I don't know, 30 million over 5 years, and he performed the way he had, it'd be gone. But obviously he's young, he takes time to develop, but he didn't. It was just speed. And it was like, oh, he can do more because he's wide open and not getting targeted. Like the play that everyone's going to go to, wide open in the back of the Rams end zone. Oh, there he is, jumping around, give me the ball. Oh, Quez can be such a baller. He doesn't get the ball thrown. He can't. He's shite. He can run and get open. But I would much rather throw to A.J Brown in triple coverage than Quez Watkins wide open. Because Quez Watkins will drop it and A.J Brown will somehow moss everyone. That's the difference. This team is built of elite superstars. And Quez just isn't that guy. He's just an average slot receiver with a lot of speed. His value is because he's so quick, it draws attention, it opens up stuff for Smitty, it opens up stuff for AJ, it opens up the run. But he just isn't that guy. He's not him. And I wouldn't be surprised to see them move him like, after this year. OZ, I mean, Mark says there, I definitely like OZ more. I'm exactly the same. I was buzzing when they signed him. I was buzzing like a horny bumblebee. All right, Zacchaeus comes in from Atlanta, had chemistry with Mariota. Great year for what that offense was. Genuinely really impressive season. And you can see it. Like his first opportunity, scores a touchdown. Second opportunity, comes up big, couple of big plays. The upside is there with Zacchaeus as like a gameable receiver. Quez is just a decoy. You know when you're in like Battlefield, like the old Battlefields, like Battlefield 3, and you play Operation Metro, this is the nichest reference you're going to have, right? But you know, it's just corridor warfare, isn't it? It's just like, you know, 40 people here, 40 people there, lying on the floor, lobbing grenades and stuff. And you convince one of your mates to be the decoy. Or when you're playing PUBG or Fortnite, and there's like a group of 4 people in a house, and you're like, right, you run around the side and lob a grenade, or you go make some noise over there and we'll go in the back. That's all Quez is. He's me on PUBG, and I know because I was that guy. Did I help my team win games on PUBG? I like to think I helped. But did I really? If you ask any of them, are they going to go, yeah, we couldn't have done that without Liam? No, he was more of a hindrance than a help. And he kept running into things where he wasn't needed and starting confrontations and getting ambushed by groups of 4. That was Liam's, you know, legend on PUBG. That's Quez Watkins on the Eagles. There's a lot of talk there about Trey season. Greg Ward's a true professional. I love Greg Ward. I mean, the thing is with Greg Ward, though, he wasn't a supreme athlete, but he could catch. That was it. He could catch, and he was a safe pair of hands. So you're obviously going to target him. Quez is the opposite, where he's got all of this athleticism, but you can't put the cherry on the cake. He's very much, if I was to make a comparison, he's like Vinny Curry was for a long time. Could get into the backfield, has all the moves, all the power, all the prowess, and he just can't get the sack. Just can't get the QB hit. Oh, he can't get a tackle for a loss. Oh, he's missed a tackle. Can't put the cherry on the cake. That's where Quez is at this point in his career. And I was hoping after his, you know, tweets this offseason where he's like, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Fair enough. But we're 5 weeks in and he hasn't. He's been injured for some of it. He's come back and looked just the same. And Olamide Zacchaeus has come in his competition. I'd say wipe the floor with him. I don't think it's even close as to who the more productive receiver has been. Numbers might be skewed because Watkins has had more opportunities, but in terms of what they give you, Zacchaeus is night and day clear, in my opinion. I know we had a question earlier about my facial hair. Typically, as we do, I think it was K1 in typical. It's a 4:45 shadow. No, right, what it is I'm having a group of friends. There's like 30 of us who play golf, and someone they know is like started a November charity thing because they're suffering with an illness. I don't know the ins and outs. It was like someone's family friend that I'm not close to them, but the whole group's doing it to raise money for them. So yeah, November to raise money for a good cause. Unfortunately, I think I'm maxed out. That's about as far as it gets now for me. I'm hoping I get a little bit down here and maybe like a little one there, and I just got to shave all this. But I don't think I'll be allowed near schools anytime soon, put it that way. It looks absolutely disgusting. It feels, I don't know how people with moustaches do it. Like, I just sit there playing with it the whole time. Like, oh, it's not for me. It's not. I don't know how Gardner Minshew survived for so long with his. I'll put it that way. I love the reaction to Jalen missing Quez in the red zone. Is Jalen doesn't want to throw to him because Quez stinks and because not. Yeah, 100%. Like everyone's. The thing is, everyone wants Quez to succeed. We can all agree. I don't want him to suck. I don't want him to be average. I'd love him to break out for a 100-yard game, but I'm not a betting man. I am. If I had $100 right now to put on what happens first, right? Quez Watkins having a 100-yard game or this becoming a full beard, let's just say if I can wear a facial hair, all right? Like, the safer bet would be like Quez to never have a 100-yard game or Quez to have a 100-yard game. The odds would be on never. And I'm not trying to be mean. He's just not that guy. His job in that offense is a decoy. Zacchaeus gives you more. Cortland Sutton, I would be all in on. I think he's a great target. You said Satan. See, what I've done there is be tired and not read properly. But I'd be all in on Patrick Satan. The only thing with it is, I don't think they can bring him in without having to, put him outside. Now, I think if you bring in Pat Satan, he has to replace Slay. So unless you ship Darius Slay off to Denver in that corresponding trade, if you could trade for Pat Satan for Darius Slay, a second-round pick this year and a third-round next year, I'll do it. I think in a heartbeat. But it's just not going to happen, I don't think. Yeah, you're right. They're going to want too much money for him. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to... Banned is what I say. That absolutely bad. That is horrific. I spent all this time making a lovely A.J. Brown graphic, drawing diagrams of your hair with a telestrator. The cheek of you, Sunshine. Absolutely unbelievable. Love it. I would never forget the open touchdown Quez in the Super Bowl. At least Aguilar played well in stretches. Look, it's hard to find good slot receivers. Because typically, the ones that are very quick are either like track athletes who have then turned wideouts, and the ones who are really good at catching are your wideouts and your bigger boys because they put so much up. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what you'd say to him. I'm not a wide receivers coach. I don't even know what I'd work on other than like shoving him in front of a jugs machine for like 3 weeks, non-stop every day, and just bang, bang, bang. But like, he's now in his final year. He has done... the resume is long enough to know you've got a strong body of work and go, look, this is where we're at. This is what Quez Watkins is. In the same way it was with Miles Sanders last year. We know what Miles Sanders is. He's a back who does X, Y, and Z, doesn't do X, Y, and Z. The exact same, I think, can be said here with Quez. Aguilar developed, but the upside was always there with him because he was a first-round receiver, and everyone knew what he was capable of. Quez was a speedster who notoriously had wobbly hands coming out of college and just hasn't found that dimension to his game. It's kind of hard. You've got to think, like, imagine, like, starting with a new job. Like, okay, imagine me, right? I used to work in a DIY store. Imagine buying, like, slabs and concrete and sand and me taking them to your car. 6'3", gangly little tree. Like, it's just not happening. I'm not built for that, all right? But imagine I sign on and I get a job as a labourer. Let's say I'm on the tools. I'm doing, like, bricklaying or something like that. And they're like, Liam's really intelligent. He's really driven. He's good with his hands, ladies. And he's got a flair for art, so he'll be good at building. But if he can't understand how to use a trowel and like start putting the cement on the I don't know how it works. You can sound like the game, but you see what I'm saying? Like, if I don't understand the fundamentals of bricklaying, sure you can teach me, but I still might be shit. I still might not ever get there. I might have all the attributes in the world that could get me there, but that fundamental just isn't with Quez. He doesn't have that natural ability for it. He's quick, and that's it. The game's the game. It was part of the joke. I'm sure she'll understand. If she's watching this, my phone is going to light up in about 10 seconds with just angry text, and I would not be here for it. All of us, if the streams stop, okay, if my internet cuts out or I don't stream on Wednesday, we know why, is all I'm saying. But let's have it. Liam, is England games on normal TV in the UK? What time are they? Do you watch them? Yeah, so the one on Sunday was 2:30 p.m. So normally the 1 p.m. games in America are on at 6 p.m. So it works out quite well because, well, it's the same for you, but instead of like starting at breakfast and having a whole day of football, we'd start in like the afternoon and have a whole evening of football into like 4 a.m. So yeah, it's nice to not have to like, you know, to have a game on at midday. But it was on at 2 p.m. I watched it on NFL Network because that's what I have access to. I think it does air on British TV channels. The only thing is, they tend to be a bit shit because they're trying to appeal to a mass audience to draw in more fans. So, like, bear in mind, the NFL has been in England now for like, what, the better part of a decade. And every broadcast will still be, this is a wide receiver. And you can tell me what wide receivers do. Alan. No, they don't make tackles, you silly goose. They catch the football, which is brown, not like the round one we play here. No, and that's what it's like. That is really patronising. And they'll bring in like big NFL names like O.C. Manumora. I can never pronounce his name, but him. Jeff Rietveld, not Rietveld, Christ, that was an old name, blast in the past. Reinbold, I think. He used to be a Canadian football coach, and I interviewed him before. He was really, really good. I was trying to get some insight on why the Eagles signed Aaron Grimes and Mitch Evans. There's a story for you. That was my first foray into how his psychoticness was like, why was he targeting CFL corners? Was there a reason? And there was, and I loved it. And it was like the coolest thing to get that understanding. But yeah, they get proper NFL minds on, but they just dumb it down to appeal to a mass audience. And if you're there, you've been watching the NFL for like years, it's like, imagine every week having to hear what a quarterback is and what an extra point is. And it's you might as well watch like the kids' Toy Story thing they're doing. But it is on normal TV, so there's that. I don't know what the viewership's like, though. I'll have to take a look for you and find out. If Liam was a wide receivers coach, just show them his vertical and say jump higher than that and won't start them until they don't. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would. Damn right, Isaac. And you'd be straight in there on the team. You know it. 6'3", 38-inch vertical. No one's getting near me. I'll be like, Quez, you're quick, but bang, can you do that? Oh, why couldn't you get your arm, Quez? What is Quez going to start on me? I'll just like put my hand out and it'll be like that meme where he's like running into my hand with his fists trying to punch me, but I'm too tall and he can't reach. That'll be what happens. That's another player I can punch. We'll add that to the list. NFL reality check. Nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. We get it, mate. You have low testosterone. Right, what all K1 does is come on here and bully me. The facial hair, the voice, the testosterone. Understandable. It might be Joe if she sees this. Who the hell is Alan? Oh, he's just a metaphorical student in this school. That's all. Metaphorical student in the school. I missed football in Alaska. Game started at 9 a.m. We're over at 4. Never had to stay up late. Yeah. I wish I could relate. I mean, so like when the Eagles are on prime time, like their games start if it's Sunday, it's 7:30, and if it's Monday, it's 8 p.m., right, for you guys. So for me, that's midnight or 1 a.m. So by the time the game finishes, it's like 4, between 4 and 5. By the time I've written the recap, it's usually about 6. So then I like go to bed and the sun's coming up and there's birds singing and my heart's pounding because of all the coffee and energy drink. And I'm just there going, Jalen hurts, like lying there in some sort of crisis. It's not great. So there you are. That's life inside the, it's not great. I was very thankful for a 9 p.m. game. I saw the Rams on the schedule on the road, and I was like, that is just destined to be like, what? The basketball's worse. Because the basketball, there is no prime time. Well, there is, but like, if you're on the road against the Warriors, they'll just start you at like 3 a.m. And it's like, what's the point? Like, yeah, I don't know. Life as an international sports fan, right? Oh, I'm very jealous of that. That sounds like the dream scenario to be in. I'm going to move to Alaska. I'm a cold boy anyway. I'm not built for the heat. I'm a cold man. I've got a cold heart, shall we say. That's why I've been being so annoying to Quez for the last half an hour, bless him. But yeah, we've got 10 minutes left, guys. So let me know if there's anything you want to go over or talk about. before we end the stream. I will quickly check and see where we are on likes, because again, if you are just joining us, we do an Eagles giveaway. So if we get over the amount of points the Eagles scored last time out, which is 23, which is easy to beat, we'll do an Eagles giveaway. We're currently on 13. So we get 10 likes, and that's a like a minute, we can do a giveaway. If not, we haven't done one. I mean, I've had this idea for a month, and we've not done one. Step it up. I'm joking. It's okay. Are you ready for the all-time worst Eagles draft? I cannot wait. So if you are just tuning in and wondering what this is, the Halloween stream, I believe it will be the 27th of October. I'll double check it. I think it's 27. Yeah, the 27th of October. We will be doing an all Eagles worst team horror show draft for Halloween. So you're all going to come in and build the worst Eagles team you physically could, right? We're talking Danny Watkins. We're talking Jalen Reagor. We're talking whoever you please. Any player that has played for the Eagles and been horrific. Jamon Brown is my first overall pick. Cannot wait to get him at that starting guard position. Maybe Mark Sanchez. Maybe there are other guys. So whatever you feel like you want to add into that Eagles team, you can write them all down and get them in the chat, and we will go over them. We will review them together. So it'll be fun. 27th of October. We'll start promoting it soon. We'll have some graphics and stuff. But it's going to be a Halloween theme. I'll try and get a fancy dress thing sorted. And we'll have a laugh. I'm excited for it, guys. I genuinely can't wait. Janelle Pumphrey is another one. Marsha, I can't wait. I'm excited for the defense. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'd be harsh on defense, but as soon as was it you that said Leodis McKelvin? And I was like, yeah, we got some legs here. We got some stuff to go on. Linebackers, obviously, you got guys like Kiko Alonso, Nate Gary, can be all sorts of fun. So the Eagles Horror Show, 27th of October, Friday night. It's probably going to be a 2-hour thing. Don't miss it. Just make sure you build your own draft before, or we can review them all together. One by one, I'll go quarterback. I'll say mine. You can all say yours. We'll have a laugh. And if we unanimously agree, I think the way it should work is if we start with quarterback, for instance, and I said Tim Tebow, and you said someone else, and someone else, and someone else, and someone else, and we'd all laugh in the chat, and we go, actually, I forgot about him. I think K1's won it. We build the team starting with K1's quarterback, if that makes sense, or whoever gets the most votes. So then we end up with this all horror show team of our collective conscious of absolute trauma. So if you want to be part of that, 27th, Keith Beachman, Beecham. I'll butcher that twice in a row. Keith Beecham, Isel Jenkins. That's it. Demetrius Bell. October 27th, Keith. I'll see you October 27th. Thank you for hanging out and dropping a message. Yeah, to be fair, I remember that. Kike was out of the player, really. He just got injured a lot. And then he went to Miami, I think, who did exactly the same. Just got injured, but was quite good. Do you know one man that I miss on the Eagles? The one that got away? Eric Rowe. He would not make that all-horror team. It'd be like a reserve of the reserve. I loved Eric Rowe. I always knew he'd be a baller. And then he goes out and does all right in Miami and New England. Jalen Watkins, another one. Had a really good year. I think it was 2015, 2014. Had a really solid season. Andrew Sende. Oh, he's got to be starting safety. He's got to be starting safety. I can't think of any worse than that. Yeah, I love how we're already you've got to start building your big boards out. Build out those big boards. It's got to be fun. Eric, nice to see you. 5-0. Absolutely, man. Cheerio. It's what we said to the Rams on Sunday. What a game. And one last time, we will go over just the graphics we've got, because K1 probably missed them. So these are my 3 MVPs from Sunday's win. A.J. Brown, who was just a man-eater. Make you work hard, make you sweat hard. Right, he was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Third game in a row now. He's gone over that total of 127 yards. We'll get into his stats one last time in just a moment. Jalen Carter, up to 3.5 sacks on the year now. 4 tackles against the Rams. Made Aaron Donald look like an undrafted free agent on his home soil. What a man he is. And Sua Opeta, who was cut by this team once upon a time. Undrafted out of Weber State. Weber State, might I say, only spelt with 1 B. 1 B. The word Weber. No, not 2 Bs. Let you think 1 B. Okay, that's the level of school we're talking. And he comes out, graduates through Stoutland University, faces Aaron Donald and Quinnan Williams, and pitches a shutout. Absolutely remarkable. And then one last time, we will go over A.J Brown's stats just before we end it, because I can't harp on about it enough. The guy was just a machine. And again, for your reference, career high yards per game he's averaging right now, 108. He's averaging a career high 7 receptions per game. His previous high was 5.2. That's 2 catches per game more than his previous career high. Average depth of target, also a career high, 13.6. And on first downs for the year, his career high is 59. He's already on 26. He's halfway there. He's living on a prayer. Career high yards after the catch, 548. He's already on 193. The man is just a machine. He is the most valuable player the Philadelphia Eagles have right now. And now at tea time, do you know what? I remember, right, the first ever video I made for This Week in Philadelphia Sports, I sat there with a cup of tea and I made a joke about the tea or something, or like, that's the tea. And I started an Eagles talk show. And that was where it started. That was where a lot of the PSN YouTube stuff started. So there you go. Maybe I'll start having a cup of tea on the side here. It's got to be done. I can't like Kiko because what we gave up for him. Yeah, that's fair. It's sort of like the DeMarco Murray paying thing, isn't it? Do these have to be actual Eagles draft picks? No. So you can have whoever. So as long as they've played for the Eagles, if they've signed, drafted, traded, doesn't matter. I'm having Golden Tate at wide receiver. Golden Tate, Travis Fulgham. There's 2 of mine straight away there in the big board. Shelton Gibson. Oh, Sharif Miller. The man that guaranteed himself like a 7-sack season and got cut 3 weeks later. Oh, that was stupendous. I've never seen. Oh, it was one of my favourite moments. I'm pretty sure like he angered Chris Infante, our writer on Twitter. I'm pretty sure they got into a bit of a spat or something. And Sharif said like he's gonna have 10 sacks or something in a season. And I was like, Sharif, you can't even stay on the team for 10 days, hun, let alone get 10 sacks. And then he got cut. Bless him. I wonder what he's doing now. Sweet graphic, I must say. I knew you'd like it. I did it just for you. And all you can do is insult my handlebars. But look at that. Tickle it now. Lovely. Morgan, we've got another new user in the chat. Welcome to the Chaos, Morgan. Chip Kelly. Yeah, look, hey, we can draft a head coach too. We can have a head coach. We can have coordinators. We'll do the lot. So October 27th, Morgan, I'll see you there. And we will build our ultimate terrible Eagles team. Dorial Green Beckham went up. All this month is going to be until the 27th is us going over like horrendous Eagles players. And that's what we want. We are just traumatized Eagles fans getting all out of our system. Is Chip coaching the team or 2011? Oh, that's tricky. That is it, yeah. I mean, they haven't had any like explicitly bad coaches. Yeah, Chip was a bad coach, but you know, did all right, didn't he? Really? Apart from breaking the team, sure. As a GM, horrific. As a coach, fairly good. The sports science stuff seemed to last. He was right about that. He was right about one thing. It was sports science. That became a foundation the team built on. Nolan Carroll, what a man. Jalen Carter, watching Jalen Carter is like watching Shaq when he came into the NBA. You know you're watching greatness. Oh, absolutely. That is a hell of a comparison, Eric. Yeah, it's just he's on a different speed to everyone else. There are some people you watch and you just know they've got it. The hidden it factor, if you will. And he's got it in spades. It's every game. No matter the circumstance, no matter the team, no matter the offensive line. Like, this is one of the best offensive lines in football, and he finds a way to make it count. To make, to turn heads, to put the spotlight back on him again as a rookie. It's rare a rookie, especially in the trenches. I feel like wideouts have it pretty easy. Corners have it pretty easy because they're constantly in the spotlight around the ball. You don't get it in the trenches. And typically, when you do first come out, you might have all the athleticism in the world, but you're not as strong. You haven't put 10 years in the gym. You don't understand the foundations of the NFL technique in comparison to the college game. And it takes 2-3 years for them to really start coming together. Jalen's got it within 2 weeks. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy to see. Ronnie Brewer, absolutely the worst running back in Eagles history. Davion Mitch. Right. Jaqueta's pussy, we leave alone. Juan Castillo, defensive. This is going to be crazy. King Dunlap, Billy Davis, defensive coordinator. I'm getting traumatized. Like, it is a slew of just... Freddie Mitchell can get in. Does my head in, that man. One play he's had, and his entire career that matters, and he's built a life off it. He carries himself round like he's Megatron. I don't understand it. You'd think he's had the career of Larry Fitzgerald. He's had the career of Larry Larryson. Ridiculous. Are you kidding? Rich Coit was a disaster. Fred will always live in our hearts. Not for me. Sharif Miller was in the XFL this year. I'm assuming that'll be the last time he's there. Marion Campbell was the worst. Bradley Stewart, Tom Pinkston, Nandi Asamoah, Byron Maxwell should be starting corners. Yeah, this is gonna be chaos. We're gonna be chaos, and we'll leave it there, guys. If you have just tuned in, if you watched the stream, thank you for hanging out. If you could leave a like, it would be amazing. If you've not subscribed, make sure you do, because most of the content on the channel now is live streams, so you do get a notification when we go live, and it's the best way just to stay in tune with that. If you don't want to subscribe and you're too lazy and you're in bed falling asleep, fair enough. But just remember, 6 p.m, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'll see you. Not like that, but I will see you. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Yeah. DRC, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie. Who was the other one they got from the Giants for like... I swear there was someone else. There was another former Giants corner they brought in for like a year, one training camp. And everyone's like, it might have been, it was a wide receiver. Who was that? And everyone was like obsessing, and he's going to be like really good. And I don't even think he made the team. It wasn't Hakeem Nicks, but it was someone like on that level. I don't think, it wasn't Steve. Who was it? That's going to wind me up now. Was it Steve Smith? Or is it, I don't think it was Steve Smith. Maybe it was. Maybe there was two. I don't know. But I know there was one that really potently stood out as like a former Giants wideout that everyone was buzzing for. And he just laid... Maybe it was. Either way, we'll find out in the draft stream. So yeah, October 27th, mark your calendars. Friday night, 6 p.m. The Eagles horror show will begin. I'll bring some fancy dress. We'll have a night. It was... No. Oh, right. Yeah, different. Okay, that's where I got confused. My bad. But yeah, I will see you guys on Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. We will preview the upcoming game against what's left of the New York Jets and Zach Wilson. But until then, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Sorry, I was going to burp then. Hope you've all enjoyed yourselves. Blake Countess, what a man. I was so high on Blake Countess. So high on him. I really wanted him to succeed. And then it never really went. Who was the other one? There was another safety like that. That actually, didn't end up going to the Rams and having a half-decent career. I'm going to have to go back through now. And he ended up following me on Twitter and, kept liking every time I tweeted about him. But he was cut from the team. I think he got injured. Whoa, we're not having that. We're not having that. Whoa, we're not having that. Get banned. Gone. Get away. We're talking about... Look, I know it's a filthy chat discussing Eagles... horror shows, but not quite that fun, right? We're not quite that chaotic. Some of us might need some stress relief, I understand, but we don't need that. Do it in your own time, gentlemen. And on that note, it's fun to have these streams. Isaac, thank you for hanging out. K1, Mark, Marshall Lynch, Jay Fizz, Keith, Ron, everyone that's been here, TMC, Eric, Morgan, I'll try and name all of you, NFL Reality Check, you're all here. I love you all. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Enjoy the Phillies. I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Go Birds. Brilliant.